One of the fastest growing childhood diseases is juvenile diabetes or type 1 diabetes. A local organization called Bryce's Buddies here within Polk County is doing their best to help families understand and cope with the type 1 diabetes. And an event that they've got coming up that you do not want to miss is Wingin' It. And joining us in studio is Brandy Duncan. Brandy is with Bryce's Buddies, and of course she's one of the cogs that turns the Wingin' It Festival. How you doing today, Brandy?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing?
Doing great. And I always like this time of year. You guys have probably one of the most unique festivals with probably an incredible backdrop, Wingin' It. And we're going to talk more about that. But what I really want to talk about is, for starters, what exactly is Bryce's Buddies?
Bryce's Buddies is a nonprofit that my husband and I started going on 4 years ago. When our son Bryce was diagnosed, we're going on 6 years of Bryce being diagnosed. There were some hardships that we went through as a family, some difficulties that Bryce had. Obviously, he was 9 years old when he was diagnosed, and there were some psychosocial side effects from being diagnosed at 9 years old. A child's used to eating and doing whatever they want to, and then all of a sudden, abruptly, that has to come to a stop, and your entire lifestyle changes. So there were things as a family that we went through, and one of the big things is at that time is when our economy was taking a hit, and we wanted to send Bryce to a diabetic camp just so that he could work around other children that were having to do glucose checks throughout the day and take insulin shots. And at that point in time in our careers, it was hard for us. We had a business that was struggling, and we found there were not a lot of organizations out there that would help. And if there were organizations that would help in any manner, if you worked and obviously made money, there was, they really couldn't help you. So we found it a bit frustrating at times. And when Bryce was first let out of the intensive care unit, I went to Publix to pick up his prescriptions, and somehow they had coded that wrong. And our cost for his medication came up to like $900. Well, of course, being straight out of the hospital, mom mode kicked in, and I went into panic mode because I knew this was going to be a monthly expense for us. And Bryce, 2 weeks later, came downstairs to his father and he said, "Dad, I have a question for you. What happens if a family can't afford those medications? What happens to the children? Do they die?" And his father said, "Well, no, son. I'm sure there's things out there. We figure out ways to make it happen." And it just kind of made us think. Our kid, for the last 2 weeks after being diagnosed, he wasn't thinking about himself. He was still concerned with those other children. So just some other things that happened, and we decided to start Bryce's Buddies Juvenile Diabetes Foundation. We started with a couple of families, support group. My husband and I, we funded everything. And then it got to a point where it was like, okay, we can't keep funding this. We need to do something to fundraise. So we had a huge rummage sale. That's how we actually got established as a 501c3, and thankful to all of our friends and the social media, Facebook, we received a lot of donations, and that's how we established as a 501c3. We don't take anything from it financially. I know a lot of people find that hard to believe as we trudge along with Wingin' It and Bryce's Buddies and working full-time jobs and running our business, everything that we do in life. But it's something that started out of the heart to help other families because we know what they're going through when their child's diagnosed or if they're living with the disease.
Talk a little bit about how Wingin' It came about.
Well, my husband and I, we were laying in bed one evening watching the Food Network. We love watching these food channels and all the different challenges and what have you. And there was a huge festival up in New York, Buffalo, New York to be exact, and they have a huge chicken wing cook-off competition, and it was wings, bands, and brews. And my husband said, "That's a great idea. We have so many barbecue events in Polk County. Everyone here loves wings, they love beer, they love entertainment. We need a festival like this brought to our community." And it was probably about 6 months out from April, and we had the idea, and I met with a couple of friends, and I asked one of them, I said, "I want you to be perfectly honest with me. We're 4 months out. Can we make this festival go?" And she said, "You can do anything. It's going to be a lot of hard work." And with less than $200 in the bank, we had our first year at Wingin' It.
Wow. One of the unique things about Wingin' It, and a play on words, is to me, when it comes to festivals, there are a lot of great venues for festivals, but the natural fit was putting Wingin' It at at an airport, Winter Haven Airport at that, an incredible backdrop, and of course, probably something that really you don't see all that much.
Absolutely. The city of Winter Haven has a phenomenal facility out there. A lot of money went into that, and it was really underutilized as far as, bringing people into the community through the airport. Beautiful facility, the terminal building. They've put a lot of work into it, and everyone always focuses on downtown, which we love all the downtown events, love attending them. There's always issues with parking. We have that beautiful parking garage now, but there was always an issue with parking, and we just had this idea, it's great. They have that 25 acres there right next to the landing strip, and you've got a great view, lots of eye candy, if they're landing to come into the festival. So we knew we wanted to do it at the airport, and when we came up with our logo, we said, Wings, Bands, and Brews at the airport, and that's how we designed our logo. And our graphic design artist did a phenomenal job whenever he threw the guitar neck on the plane and then made the wings into a chicken wing. So everything about our festival has taken a lot of thoughts went into it. I make jokes about this, but my husband and I, all of our ideas come when we're all sitting at home on the couch having coffee, drinks, whatever it is, our friends. Everything about our festival, usually our friends, everyone has input on it. So.
Let's talk about this year's event. What are we scheduled for? What are we looking at?
We're looking at April 11th, which is Friday afternoon. We're going to open to the public at 4 o'clock, and then we'll close at 11. And then Saturday is going to be 10 in the morning until 11 at night. And Friday this year, last year we had the Journey Tribute Band, which was phenomenal. We try to bring in a lot of different entertainment from within the areas, be it the state of Florida or out of the state of Florida, on a budget. With that being said, but this year we're pretty excited. We have the Kings of Hollywood tour.
Yeah, and if you're a part of that hair metal glam rock band like I was, that's quality, man.
I think there's a lot of comeback with the 80s and 90s music. A lot of people like to relive it. I know I'm 36 years old. I don't mind saying that, but I love my 80s and 90s music, and we're pretty excited. It's a Poison tribute band, a Motley Crue tribute band, and Guns N' Roses. And obviously, before we book anyone, we always make sure we go somewhere publicly and listen to them. And Shannon and I did just that last year after Wingin' It. We went and listened to this concert, and we feel it's going to be a wonderful addition. So we're kind of dubbing Friday evening throwback night. So we're actually going to throw out a contest here a couple weeks out.
I am breaking out the acid wash jeans.
Someone on Facebook put bring back the aqua net and the spandex. So
exactly.
There's a lot of stuff. So we're going to try and do something interactive with people, encourage them to come out and dress with their 80s and 90s stuff. But I think Friday evening is going to be a huge night. That's our VIP night. And we're pretty excited to announce this year we made a connection with Pyrotechnico, and they're one of our presenting sponsors. So we're going to have a phenomenal fireworks show on Friday evening. So you won't want to miss that.
That's very cool.
And another addition we're adding another stage. We always listen to our vendors and our attendees, be it through social media. We're constantly replying 24 hours a day, be it through phone, iPad, whatever it is. But one of our teams, a lot of our teams actually said, everybody wants to be near the stage, and it's hard to do that. And you set a festival up, and everybody wants to stay near the entertainment. So Mark Jackson actually last year said, you know what a phenomenal idea would be to add a West End stage. And I thought, the cost in that is just outrageous. I don't think a lot of people really get into the cost. Not saying Mark Jackson doesn't. He knows by all means, but he had that great idea, and we decided to run with it this year. So we're actually having a West End stage and an East End stage, and that kind of allows us to have double the entertainment. We don't have that downtime where we're just having to play music on the sound system. So it's going to rotate. The stagehands will actually be able to start working on the West End, get them prepared on the East End, and all the entertainment, no matter which end it's at. I know there's been some rumors that if you're playing on one stage, it doesn't mean you're important. Absolutely not. It's just because of the lineup, who we're playing, where it's at, the crowd. We're trying to bring bands and people in that are going to pull crowds the entire time. Not just, we don't want to get that known for, you don't want to show up till 5 o'clock. When it kicks off.
It's an all-day festival.
It's an all-day festival.
Now, the thing I'm really excited about, we hit the 80s, 90s crowd on Friday night, but Saturday. An old buddy of mine, man, Daryle Singletary, going to be in town. And for folks that don't know Daryle Singletary, probably one of his song known best for is probably could be the theme of this year's event, Too Much Fun.
Too much fun, absolutely. I think you've been in our brains here, Brian. Do you got a little insight on some of our stuff coming out?
Hey, just let me know. Have you ever heard this voice before? Get ready for Winging It.
Yes, we are excited to announce that we have Daryle Singletary coming. A lot of people say, Daryle Singletary who? But he had some wonderful hits.
He's had a pretty healthy career.
Healthy career. He's really focused on his family the last years. Not that he's just kind of died out. He's got a family, a wonderful guy. We actually started speaking with him through Sarah Michaels on Twitter. Social media is an awesome thing, and that man is going above and beyond to help our foundation out. We're pretty excited about that. But he's coming in. We're going to have him as our headliner on Saturday evening. And you're right, he did have Too Much Fun was one of his hits. I Let Her Lie, and then The Note. And some of his other things, and it's kind of funny when my husband wrote the contract, if you've ever taken the time out to listen to some of his covers, the man has a phenomenal voice. And he can cover Keith Whitley, Conway Twitty. So if you enjoy any of that older country stuff, I'm sure my husband did put it in the contract where he has to perform a couple of those covers. But phenomenal guy. And from talking with Mike at Hall Communications, he said, you know, you did good. Because it's hard. We don't charge for people to get into our festival. And let me just say, it is hard to get any type of headline entertainment on the budget that we're working with. And he said, I think everyone that attends Wingin' It, they're going to be super excited and pleased with the show that Daryle Singletary puts on, because he puts on a great show. We
only have a couple minutes left. I want to talk a little bit about the competition itself. We have two divisions. Now we've hit the event for as far as the folks coming to check out the food, check out everything. But the main thing about it, it's a chicken wing competition. You got two divisions. Tell me real quick.
We got Joe's and Pros. Pros are basically restaurants, anyone with catering license. Joe's or anyone else that comes in. It's a lot of our professional barbecue teams. They don't like to be called Joe's, but we're a little different than the barbecue circuit. You can come out and you can try wings from all the vendors. They're going to be vending all types of food, but majority you can try all the chicken wings throughout all the vendors. And we're right at about 30 teams this year. Pretty excited about that. And you can bring your family. It's a family event.
A lot of fun for the kids.
A lot of fun for the kids. And we've partnered with a professional kids zone, and we're going to have some cool rides there for all ages to ride, middle school, high school. If you're there with your parents, you're going to have a great time.
Obviously, this doesn't go down without, we mentioned the fireworks sponsor, but you got a title sponsor, Lily O'Toole and Brown. This does not go down without the help of sponsors.
If it were not for Lily O'Toole and Brown this year, we wouldn't be where we are at today. So I want to most definitely put a huge thank you, because it is the Lily O'Toole and Brown Wingin' It Festival for 2014. So. And
something that folks at home need to really understand, that this festival is in its infancy stage, right?
Third-year event. Third-year event. So keep it in mind when you come out, you see the crowds, and if there's anything wrong, come to our information tent, let us know. We're going to do what we got to do to fix it. It's a free event with paid parking, and the only other thing we ask is that you do leave your coolers and drinks. We had a lot of people trudging in with coolers and their drinks, but that's how we make the money for the nonprofit. So.
Well, Brandy, I want to thank you for coming on, joining us, telling us all about it, and we definitely look forward to this year's event.
Thank you for having me out.
All right, and we want to make sure you at home don't miss Wingin' It. It is an absolutely incredible event. Family fun, entertainment, and of course my favorite, chicken wings. It's scheduled for April 11th and 12th. Wingin' It Festival 2014, April 11th and 12th, Friday from 4 to 11 p.m. and Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. It all happens at the Winter Haven Airport, and it's a chicken wing competition with two divisions, the Pros and the Joes. Let's not forget about the entertainment that's available. On Friday night, it's the Kings of Hollywood tour. That is something for you to check out if you're part of that 80s hair metal band like what I am. That's worth the price of admission. And of course, Saturday, country superstar Daryle Singletary gonna be there Saturday. Price of admission, absolutely no cost. Will cost you to park though, so keep that in mind. Make sure you check out Wingin' It Wings, Band, and Brew, scheduled for April 11th and 12th at the Winter Haven Airport. We want to see you there.